Dear students, in this lecture we are going to study what is meant by viscosity and how to determine the viscosity of different liquids and why the viscosity of each liquid is different. Now see here, the liquid exhibit the resistance to flow that is known as viscosity. So the resistance to flow is known as a viscosity of the liquid. So we know that all liquids do not flow equally, and those liquids like a glycerine, a castor oil, these liquids flow slowly on the layer and they have high viscosity, while those liquids like water and alcohol, they flow easily on the floor and therefore they have low viscosity. So high viscosity is nothing but those liquids have more resistance to flow are known as high viscosity liquids, and low viscosity liquids are those liquids which have less resistance to flow. Thus, the rate of flow depends on the nature of liquid. So, the flow of liquid is totally depends upon the nature and the force which produces the flow of that liquid. So this liquid is considered as a number of molecular layers which are arranged one over the other. So liquid is considered as a number of molecular layers which are arranged one over the other. Consider the movement of liquid on the glass surface. Now see this diagram here. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose there are 4 layers of that liquid, and this red straight line shows that it is a glass surface. So the lower layer, that is number 1 layer, the lower layer, the layer of liquid in contact with the surface. So this lower layer has contact with the surface which is remains stationary, or the flow of that liquid is very slow, and the second layer which is shown with the green color, that second layer moves slowly over the first liquid, and the third, that is a black layer, it has more flow rate than the second and first, and the last, that is the fourth yellow colored layer, has more viscous, that is more flow rate of flow over as compared to other layers. So these different layers are placed one another in the direction of flow. So the displacement of different layers relative to one another is opposed by the internal friction or the viscosity of liquid. So the layer 1 has different flow rate, the level 2 has different flow rate, the third and fourth have also the different rate of flow over the one another. This flow of liquid over the one another is because of the intrinsic friction or the viscosity of liquid, viscosity of the liquid. So now the viscosity is defined as the force in newtons per square meter, the force in newtons per square meter required to maintain a difference of viscosity of 1 meter per second between two parallel layers of liquid held at a distance of 1 meter from each other. So now see here what is viscosity definition. So this viscosity is nothing but it is the force in newton per square meter. So it is required to maintain a difference of viscosity of 1 meter per second between two parallel layers of liquid which are held at a distance of 1 meter from each other. So that is nothing but the viscosity of the liquid. So there are number of different methods are used to measuring the viscosity of the liquid. The commonly used method is a Poiseuille law, which connects the rate of flow of liquid through a capillary tube with the coefficient of viscosity of the liquid. So by use of this method, that is Poiseuille's law, we can measure the viscosity of different liquids. So this is an expression, eta 1 is equal to pi r raised to 4 T into P divided by 8 V into L. So this phi is nothing but the volume of liquid flowing in uh, time t through a narrow tube of radius r, uh, and having the pressure p, that is driving pressure p. So v, volume of liquid, L is the length of that liquid layer, and the t is the time for the flow, and p is the driving pressure of that liquid. The unit of coefficient of viscosity or simply viscosity are poise. So the coefficient of the unit of this viscosity is a poise. So 1 poise is equal to 0.1 Newton second per meter square. So this is the unit of the viscosity. So there are different terms which are involved in the viscosity point. So what is meant by viscosity method? So it is a Mark-Oving equation. So now see here different definitions of this viscosity term. Viscosity is a useful technique for determining the molar mass of the polymer. So this viscosity is used for determining the molar masses of the polymer. The molar mass obtained by this method is the viscosity average molar mass. So the molar mass which is obtained by use of this method is known as viscosity average molar mass, m bar v. The viscosity of polymer solution is considerably higher than that of the pure solvent. That is, the viscosity of the polymer is higher than that of the pure solvent. If eta 0 is the viscosity of pure solvent and eta is the viscosity of the solution of a given polymer. So eta 0 is the viscosity of pure solvent, eta is the viscosity of a polymer, then eta upon eta 0 is nothing but the relative viscosity of that solution. So relative viscosity eta r is equal to eta upon eta 0. So eta is the viscosity of that polymer and eta 0 is the viscosity of the pure solvent. So we have known the relative viscosity by the term eta r. So now the specific viscosity eta sp. So is the relative increase in viscosity, is the relative increase in viscosity, and is given by the equation eta sp is equal to eta minus eta 0 divided by eta 0. So eta upon eta 0 is equal to minus 1, and this eta upon eta 0 is nothing but the eta r minus 1. So the specific viscosity is equal to eta r minus 1. The ratio eta specific divided by concentration is the relative increase in specific viscosity per unit concentration. So the increase in specific viscosity per unit concentration of the polymer is known as a reduced viscosity. Now just we have seen what is meant by the relative viscosity. It is nothing but eta upon eta 0, the viscosity of polymer divided by viscosity of the pure solvent, and this relative increase in viscosity is given by the specific viscosity equation. Specific viscosity is equal to eta r minus 1. So the specific viscosity divided by concentration, that is relative increase in specific viscosity per unit concentration of the polymer, is known as reduced viscosity, and this it depends upon the polymer weight of the polymer, because the concentration term is there, and that concentration is nothing but the concentration of polymer, that is nothing but the weight of polymer. Since this reduced viscosity depends upon the concentration, it is necessary to extrapolate a plot of eta sp divided by c against the concentration to 0 concentration. So it will be explained in the next page. This extrapolated value is known as a intrinsic viscosity eta I. So the extrapolated plot on the graph of eta Sp upon concentration against concentration is known as intrinsic viscosity. So the eta I is equal to limit C tends to 0 eta Sp upon C. So C is the concentration of polymer in gram per liter. The intrinsic viscosity is determined experimentally as follow. Consider a volume V of liquid flowing through a capillary of radius r and length L in time t second, which is related to its absolute viscosity by Pauli equation. Now see this equation here. So eta is equal to P pi r raised to 4 T divided by 8 V into L. So now the T, in terms of T, we can return T is equal to eta. So this 8 VL goes on the numerator, 8 eta V into L divided by P pi r raised to 4, where P is the pressure difference under which the liquid is flowing. If eta and eta 0 are the viscosities of polymer solution and pure solvent respectively, and T and T0 are their corresponding time of flow for the same capillary tube, then now see here, then T is equal to T upon T0 is equal to eta upon eta 0. So this equation comes from the equation, that is T is equal to 8 eta phi into L P pi r raised to 4. So this is for the polymer solution, and for the solvent we can write it as T0 is equal to 8 eta 0 V into L P pi r raised to 4. I will write in the next line here. So for the polymer solution, T is equal to 8 eta V into L divided by P pi r raised to 4. Then for pure solvent, T0 is equal to 8. Only difference between these two equations is now this eta is eta 0, because this is the this is for the pure solvent. So V into L divided by P pi r raised to 4. If we divide these two equations, T by T0 is equal to, so all 8 VL on the upper numerator and the denominator are same. Therefore the equation becomes T upon T0 is equal to eta upon eta 0. It may be noted here that for calculating the intrinsic viscosity of polymer sample, it is not necessary to know the absolute viscosity of the solvent and the solutions, but using Austell's viscometer, only the time of flow of a constant volume of solvent and solution through a capillary tube is determined. So what we do here, by using Austell's viscometer, we are only calculating the time of flow of a constant volume of solvent and solution through the capillary, and by use of that timing we can determine the intrinsic viscosity, that is T upon T0 is equal to eta upon eta 0. The specific viscosity of the solution of polymer, the specific viscosity of the solution of the polymer of different concentrations in a given solvent is also determined. The ratio of specific viscosity to concentration eta Sp upon C, that is the ratio of specific viscosity to concentration is now going to plotted. We are now going to plot against the concentration here. Now see here, eta Sp upon C to the concentration term, and the graph which is obtained here, it is extrapolated here, but now see here the dash dash, it is extrapolated towards the y axis, and the value which is the extrapolated graph which touch or which cross this y axis here, so that is the nothing but the intrinsic viscosity of that solution or the polymer. Uh, the intrinsic viscosity of a polymer is related to its molecular weight according to the Mark-Hoving equation, which is given here. So, according to Mark-Hoving, whatever we are calculating the intrinsic viscosity, so that intrinsic viscosity is depends upon, or it is related to the molecular weight of that solution. So by use of this molecular weight we can by use of this values we can calculate molecular weight of the different compounds. So intrinsic viscosity eta I is equal to k into m raised to a. So where k is a constant, a is also a constant, their values can be determined by measuring intrinsic viscosity of series of samples of polymer, series of samples of polymers of different molecular weight by use of this method. The value of log eta I0 are then plotted against the log m. Now see this graph, log eta I is plotted against the log m. Now whatever the plot which we have obtained here, again it is extrapolated towards the up to the y-axis, and the intercept of this graph gives us the value of log k, and by use of that we can calculate the log k, and from the slope we can calculate the value of constant, that is a. This is most convenient method to determine the molecular weight of polymer, since once the value of k and a have been obtained from a graph of the given polymer and solvent, it is only necessary to measure the viscosities of solutions of known concentration in the same solvent. So by use of this method we can easily calculate, or we can easily determine the molecular weight of any polymer. So this is what we have studied in today's lecture. What is meant by viscosity? So viscosity is nothing but it is the force in Newton per square meter which is required to maintain a difference of velocity of 1 meter per second between two parallel layers of liquid which are held at a distance of 1 meter from each other. So this is the equation, that is coefficient of viscosity. Eta 1 is equal to pi r s to 4t into p divided by 8 VL. So the coefficient of viscosity has a unit, that is poise. It is equal to 0.1 Newton second per meter square. So there are different definitions of viscosity terms. So according to the Mark-Hoving equation we can calculate the molecular weight of any polymer of the liquid. So this is the equation, T upon T0 is equal to eta upon eta 0, and the equation 1.2.9, eta is equal to p pi r s to 4 into t divided by 8 v into L. So by use of that equation we can calculate the intrinsic viscosity and the time of flow of that. By use of time of flow of that liquid we can also calculate the molecular weight by use of this eta I is equal to k into m raised to a, where k and a are the constant for that polymer, and m is nothing but it is the molecular weight. So these are the two graphs which we have plotted, and the extrapolated graph gives us intrinsic viscosity and the value of the constant term, that is k. Now see the example here. For a solution of polymer in chloroform of concentration 3 gram per liter, the specific viscosity is found to be 0.12. The constant k and a in Mark-Hoving equation are 3.2 into 10 raised to minus 6 and 0.85 respectively. So we have to calculate the molecular weight of polymer. So by use of Hoving's equation we can calculate the molecular weight of this polymer by using the equation eta I is equal to limit c tends to 0 eta sp upon c. So we also know the equation, that is eta I is equal to, that is c into k m raised to a. So where they have given the value of k, that is 3.2 into 10 raised to minus 6 value they have given. A value is also given here. The value of concentration, that is 3 gram per liter, is also given, and the specific specific viscosity of that liquid is also given, that is 0.12. And the question is, calculate the molecular weight of polymer. So the molecular weight of polymer can be calculated by use of this equation. So now we will put the value here. So this is the eta Sp upon the concentration. Eta Sp upon the concentration term is nothing but reduced viscosity. So it gives the value 3. So by putting this value eta Sp upon C, 0.12 divided by 3, it is 3.2 into 10 raised to is equal to the value C and K and M. C, the concentration term, is given, and the value of K is also given here, and M raised to A value is also given here. So now M raised to 0.85 is equal to 0.12 divided by 3 into 3.2 into 10 raised to minus 6. So is equal to, if you solve this equation, you will get the value of M raised to 0.85 is equal to 1.25 into 10 raised to 4. Now by taking the log, so this is the value what we have got here. By taking the log of this equation, this is the equation, we come to this equation, 0.85 log of M is equal to log 1.25 into 10 raised to 4. Now this log of M is equal to, by calculating the value of log, it is 4.0969 divided by 0.85. We have this value, that is 4.820. Then M is equal to, if you take the antilog of 4.820, we get this value, that is 6.607 into 10 raised to 4 gram per mole. So this is the molecular weight of the given polymer. So by use of this equation, eta I is equal to K into M raised to A. So there is no any concentration term. So by use of this equation, we can calculate the intrinsic viscosity or the molecular weight of the given polymer. So the next is determination of viscosity by Ostwald's viscometer. So we are going to determine the viscosity by use of the instrument, that is Ostwald's viscometer. So this is the Ostwald's viscometer. Now see here, you can see the graph, you can see this figure. This is the U-shaped Ostwald's viscometer. This is a bulb in which the liquid is flowing from the mark A to mark B, and the time of flow of that liquid is also get determined by use of this Ostwald's viscometer. I will explain this, how the viscosity of the liquid is determined by use of this Ostwald's viscometer. The measurement of the viscosity of liquids are based on the Poiseuille equation. The rate of flow of liquid under a definite pressure through a capillary tube is to be determined. It is quite convenient to determine the relative viscosity of liquid, say with respect to water, so that it is not necessary to measure all the quantities indicated in Poiseuille equation. If the time of flow of the same volume of two different liquids through the same capillary is measured, then according to Poiseuille equation, the ratio of viscosity coefficient of the two liquids is given by. Dear students, if you see this equation or what is explained in this point, so whatever the values are given in Poiseuille equation, that is eta is equal to pi r raised to 4 T into P divided by 8V into L. So all these values are not necessary to calculate when we are calculating the viscosity of any liquid. If we come to calculate the viscosity of two liquids comparatively in the same capillary tube or in the same viscometer, then other terms, that is the length, the volume, the radius of that capillary is all get cancelled, and only the remaining values which is required to be calculated here is this equation here, eta upon eta 2 is equal to pi raised to 4 T1 P1 divided by 8 P into L. So for the second solution, it can be reversed 8P into L pi r raised to 4 T2 P2. So this is T1 is the time required for the flow of first liquid, T2 is the time required for the flow of second liquid. So the time of flow of two liquids can be determined here. So all these values are get cancelled, pi raised to 4, 8VL is get cancelled. Therefore, eta 1 upon eta 2 is equal to P1 T1 upon P2 T2. So the pressure P1 and P2 are proportional to the densities of two liquids. So with what pressure these liquids are flowing, so it depends upon their densities. Therefore, this equation can be written in terms of this density term. So eta 1 upon eta 2 is equal to d1 upon d2 t1 upon t2. So by use of this equation we can calculate the flow of liquid, that is intrinsic viscosity of the liquid, if the viscosity of all the liquid is known to us. Now I will explain how the viscosity of liquid is determined by use of this viscometer. Now see this instrument, it is U-shaped curve is there. So initially the one bulb is there on the right hand side of this tube, another bulb is there. So initially the liquid is put up in this through this capillary, and now the liquid is going here up to this liquid. The liquid is filled here, and now when we are putting this liquid in this capillary, the liquid goes up to here, and now what we do here, by use of the capillary we can suck the liquid from up to this liquid is there initially. When we suck this liquid upward, the liquid goes here up to here, and now this is the mark for A, this is the mark for B, and slowly we are opening this tube, then liquid comes downward due to this gravitational force, and the time of flow from this mark to this mark is calculated. That is the time required for the liquid solvent to flow from the mark A to mark B is calculated by use of this viscometry. The quantities T1 and T2 are most conveniently measured with the Auster's viscometer. The bulb in the wider limb of the tube is first filled, this one, with the liquid, and the liquid is then sucked up in the narrow limb until the liquid level is above the mark A. That is, initially the liquid is filled here, and the liquid is sucked by this from this capillary above this mark A. The liquid is then allowed to drain. That is, this capillaries get opened when we remove the finger from this capillary. Then the liquid is going flow from upper side to the lower side. The liquid is then allowed to drain. The time T for the liquid to flow through the capillary tube X from A to B is noted. So the time of flow of liquid from A to from B, from A to mark B is calculated. The experiment is repeated with reference liquid. Say water is the reference liquid. In the so we are calculating the flow of rate of flow of water also in the same tube, and it is noted as T2. So T1 is the viscosity of the T1 is the time of flow of liquid, and T2 is the time of flow of reference liquid, that is water. And by use of these values we can calculate. So T1 is known, T2 is known, the density of two liquids is known, and we know the viscosity of water molecule, water liquid. Then we can calculate the viscosity of another liquid which is given to us. So this is the simple viscometer by use of which we can calculate the viscosity of the liquid. And now see this one, the question is there. One problem is on these equations. The viscosity of liquid at 293 Kelvin is 0.084 Newton into Newton second per meter square. The viscosity of liquid at 293 Kelvin is given. Its density is also given, that is 1.1 into 10 raised to 3 kg per meter cube. How long will it take to pass through a viscometer if water under the same condition takes 30 seconds? Now see this equation, this question. They have given the viscosity of liquid, and that is 0.084, that is eta 1 is given. The density of that liquid is also given, that is d1 is also given. The eta 2, that is the viscosity of water, is also given here, that is 0.00101 Newton second per meter square, and that of the water density we know, that is 0.998 into 10 raised to 3 kg per meter cube. We know the T2 value, that is 30 seconds, is given to flow the liquid of water from mark A to mark B, and the question is calculate or how much time is taken by the liquid sample to flow from mark A to mark B. So by use of this equation, eta 1 upon eta 2 is equal to d1 t1 upon d2 t2, we can calculate here. I will directly write the values here. So eta 1 is given, that is 0.084 is given here. The viscosity of water is 0.00101 is also given. Then d1, that is density of the first liquid, it is 1.1. I will write on the upper side 1.1 into 10 raised to 3. That of T1 is to be calculated. That of D2, density of water molecule, is 0.998 into 10 raised to 3, and that of T2 is given, that is 30 value. So by putting all these values, if you calculate on a calci, we get the answer, that is the value of this T2 is calculated. So T2 is equal to 2264 into 2246 seconds. So 2264 seconds are required to flow the liquid from mark A to mark B. So such type of questions will be asked in the examination. So they will give us the viscosity, they will give us the density, they give us the viscosity of any one of the liquid, and by use of that liquid we can calculate the time of flow or the viscosity of unknown sample also. This is what the point, that is viscosity. The important point in this case is you should know the definition, you should know how the viscosity of liquid is calculated and what is the unit of viscosity. Then you will come to solve the problems in the examination.